everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'll be doing a different video. This video I asked if Instagram, if you all would be interested in this. It's very personal and it's something a lot of people know about me and a lot of people don't know about me. I lost my mother when I was 13 and I just wanted to do this video, to help others out. I feel like my channel is so based on beauty and hair, and that does help people, but I want to help people like a lot more, really like helping people. And I feel like that I'm going to do this video on how my mom passed away, and I'm also going to do this video on how I coped with losing my mom at such a young age, and honestly just everything. And hope you all can stick with me on this video because it's going to be a talk through, and I honestly don't know how long it's going to be. If you stick around, you'll learn some things about me, you'll learn some things that maybe you don't know about grief and loss, and just, yeah, so stay tuned. Okay, you guys, I'm also, someone had gave me a recommendation to try to look at the camera more and talk and sit down videos. So I'm looking in the camera, and it's totally not normal to me because I'm so used to looking into like the video and looking at myself. And that's like not a confident or like conceited thing. It's just like what I'm used to, but this makes a lot more sense because it's like I'm talking to you all directly. So yeah, stay with me. If I start talking to myself, sorry guys. Okay, so anyway, where to begin? And I don't get as sad as I used to because it happened so long ago. That doesn't mean that I don't care. I obviously care, but yeah, just keep watching. Okay, so how I lost my mom. Okay, so basically I was in class one day and I got a phone call, and a teacher was like, "Hey, Aubriana, the phone's for you." And I'm like, why would anyone be calling me in school? Like, what? I was really confused, honestly. I was like, okay. So I go up to the phone, and it's my granny, and my granny's crying. And this is my mom's mom. Like, my mom is African American, and my dad is white. So my granny, she's like a savage, Like, she's always cussing and screaming, and not in a bad way. She's just a savage. Like, I love my granny. And so I'm just like, my granny's crying. Like, what's wrong with my granny, And she's like, your mom's in the hospital. And I'm like, my mom's in the hospital? Like, and this is so wild to me because I'm like, why is my mom in the hospital? Like, I just talked to her like 2 days ago, and I seen her at the gas station, and like we were running around having fun, and I'm like, so what happened to her? And my granny doesn't want to tell me, and I'm like, why are you not telling me what happened to her? Like, what? And then she's like, I just think you should know when you get out of school. I don't want to tell you right now. So then at this point, I'm like, why did you call me then? Like, this is like, I'm going to think about this. I need to know, like, what happened. So then my granny just called me to tell me this. But I only had, like, 1 hour of school left, if that. It was, like, probably, like, last 30 minutes of school. So then my big sister gets on the phone, and she's like, Boo-Boo. Boo-Boo's my nickname to my family. So she's like, Boo-Boo, mom's in the hospital. She's crying, too. And I'm like, oh, my God, like, something really happened. Like, is my mom dead? Like, did she get hit by a car? Like, what happened to her? And they do not want to tell me. Like, they're not telling me any information on what's going on. Let me mind you, I'm in the 8th grade. I'm 13 years old. I'm young. Like, I want to know, like, what's going on because, like, I'm old enough to understand, but I'm also young enough to, like I'm young and I don't know. I'm old enough to understand what's going on. So I feel like I should have known, But they were trying to be nice to me because I was in school and they didn't want to get me all riled up in school. So I honestly didn't understand why they even told me. I was just like, what? Why didn't you just wait till I got out of school? Okay, so then my granny was like, your dad's going to come and get you, so just be prepared. And then I call my dad afterwards, and I'm asking him what's going on. He's telling me, I'll tell you when I get out of school. But my dad's a construction worker, so he was basically like, I'm sorry, I can't come get you right now, but I'm like leaving my job site and packing up right now. So I don't want to be late to get you when you can get on the bus and you'll get here at the same time. So he's like, just go ahead and get on the bus. Excuse me. So he was like, go ahead and get on the bus, and then I will be at home when you get there. And he worked so much, so he never really was at home when I got back to school. And my dad sounded really shooken up too. And I'd never seen my dad cry my whole life. So I'm like, what's wrong? Like, something's really wrong. And I'm kind of freaking out. But I'm kind of younger too. So I'm like, like, I don't know what could be wrong because I'm not fully educated on everything that can happen to a person, you know what I'm saying? So I get home, I walk down the street, on the bus, I get in my dad's car because he tells me to get in the car. And I have two younger siblings there with me, you know, so we all get in the car. And actually, I think my younger one was still in school because he was in elementary. I think we went to pick him up. Okay, so what happened was my dad was like, all right, we're about to go to the hospital. And my dad started crying. And I was like, oh my God, my dad is crying. Like, this is weird. Like, what is going on? Like, it's like I'm kind of freaking out, but I'm kind of not because I have no idea what's going on. I just know that my mom's in the hospital. So, like, in the backseat of the car or whatever, and my dad's crying, and he's like, I gotta tell you all something. And I'm like, okay, can you tell me, because nobody else is. And he says, your mom's brain dead. You know, I'm 13. What? I says, what's that mean? Like, what do you mean? What do you, like, what? And then he's like, that just means basically that her brain like no longer works, and you need your brain basically to function, to know who people are, to know everything, how to eat, how to do anything. You need your brain. You need your heart to keep you alive. And I mean, of course you need your brain to keep you alive too, but your brain is like where all your knowledge and everything is stored. So if that's not working, it's like my mom has an empty head. You get what I'm saying? Like, everything was cut off. And he was trying to explain that to me, but because I was so young, it was like I understood what he was saying, but then again, I didn't understand. I was like, okay, what's brain dead mean? Like, is she okay? Like, is she gonna be okay, you know? Like, will she be fine? Will, like, she come back? Will she recover? Like, what happened? So at this point, I'm really sad, but I'm still not crying because I still don't quite understand, you know? Like, I needed more of a full understanding of what was going on. So then we pull up to the hospital, and we go upstairs. I think we had my big sisters with me. I'm not for sure on that one. I don't know, because everything was just kind of going blank after that point. So we pull up to the hospital. I think actually some of my sisters were there, and everybody's just bawling, and my mom is hooked up to all these machines, and I'm so confused. At that point, I was freaking out because I just saw my mom 2 days ago, and I'm like, what? Like, my mom is just like, she's not responding. I'm trying to talk to her, nothing. Everything's blank. They try to get her to squeeze her hand, everything. And what happened to my mom is, so I asked the doctor, I'm like, what's wrong with my mom? What happened? Can you please explain to me more what's going on? Like, what's wrong? He explains to me my mom's brain dead. And what he says is that she's not gonna come back from that. Like, it can happen, but the chances are like 0.1%, if anything. And so I'm like, okay. And he's like, she's gonna be a vegetable. And I'm like, a vegetable? Like, what are you talking about, you know? And he's telling me, like, she's not gonna be able to do anything, basically. Like, we could keep her alive, but she's just going to be able to lay in bed. She'll never fully understand anything. She'll never be able to fully recover and be herself again, because her brain is dead. It's dead. And at that point, I'm bawling my eyes out. Like, my mom, I'm just thinking, oh my God, my mom's dead, basically. Like, she's gone. You know, she's gone. She's dead. She's warm, but she's dead. And so I'm crying so hard. Like, I'm freaking out. And then, what is another thing? How it happened. Okay, let me get to how it happened. This is just like how I found out. So then I'm like, okay, so my mom's brain dead. You know, what happened to her? What's wrong? So then the doctor's like, your mother had a massive stroke, and the brain stem in the back of her neck popped while this happened, and she was like out of oxygen for way too long. And I don't know what happened there. She was at her boyfriend's house or whatever, and when the police and the ambulance got there, my mom was cold. She was dead. But, you know, they had machines. They brought her back to life, put her on a respiratory machine, stuck all that stuff down her throat, feeding tubes, everything, you know, to keep a person alive when they're actually not alive. And so all that happened. So yeah, how my mom died is she had a massive stroke, and the brain stem in the back of her neck popped. And this happened so quick. My mom was perfectly normal 2 days ago. Perfectly normal. Nothing, you know? So that was the weirdest thing ever to me. It's just so crazy how things can switch over so quick, and how your whole world can be turned upside down in a matter of days. I mean, it can happen in seconds, honestly. Anything can happen in the next 5 seconds. So, like, I'm 13, you know, like, I'm young. I don't understand. It's like I understand what they're saying, but I don't understand, you know, like, why this is happening, why this happened. I don't fully understand that my mom's going to be a vegetable, that my mom will never be able to be her, that she'll never be goofy with me again. She'll never be able to tell me she loves me. She'll never be able to do anything that I was used to. And no, my mom actually wasn't always in my life. She was like in and out of my life because my mom actually had a drinking problem, but she was still an amazing person. She was the sweetest person you'd ever meet. She would do anything for anyone. Like, my mom was my mom, you know, like, just because someone has a drinking problem doesn't make them, you know, any less of a parent. Like, she just had a addiction problem that she tried to work through, and it wasn't working as well as she wanted, you know. So, like, she had been to rehabs and stuff like that. So, yeah, like, my mom wasn't always in my life. But at the point that this happened, my mom had got visitation with us, like supervised visitation with me and my younger brothers. So she was allowed to, you know, visit us again and be there for us. And, like, we actually got pretty close to our mom around the time this was happening. So it was like, you know, she was like in and out when I was younger, but she was there, but she wasn't, you know. So, like, she was there enough that I knew who my mom was. But sometimes I'd wake up and she'd be gone. And it was just her problem, you know. And I still loved my mom through everything, you know, because, like I said, my mom's my mom. And she cared about all of us. It's just when you're addicted to something, it's just, it's not that they don't care. It's that they're trying to fight and get out of it. And I never believed that, like, she didn't care, you know. She was trying. I've always felt like she was trying. So back to what I was saying. She was in the hospital, yeah, and like I said, we got like pretty close with my mom around that time. And so when it happened, it was like a total shock, and I was freaking out. I'm sorry if I'm looking down you all. I'm just thinking and talking, and yeah, I'm just trying to get everything together and explain it. And my voice is a little shaky. Like, I'm not gonna cry because I've got kind of past the point to where I cry when I tell the story of what happened, but it's still sad, you know, like, it's still painful and all that. Okay, so my mom was in the hospital for 7 days. 7 days. Yeah, she went in October 10th in 2012, and no, she went in October 3rd, October 3rd, 2012, and she was on all that stuff. She wasn't alive. The machines were keeping her alive. Like, and after a while, my big sister, she was in charge of what was going to happen to my mom. If we were going to leave her on that thing and she would be in a nursing home for the rest of her life, and that we'd be able to go visit her, but we'd never be able to talk to her again or do anything with her again because of the amount of brain damage that was on her brain. And they said that, like, it would never heal. And so my big sister had the choice for everything, but she did it all on her own, basically. So, like, my mom, like I said, my mom was in the hospital for 7 days. All those 7 days, I was there every single day. I didn't go to school. I didn't go take a shower. I barely ate. I barely did anything because, you know, like, I'm a young kid. Like, I want my mom in my life. I need my mom. And so I was going to be there for her 100%. I was there every day by her side, sleeping by her bedside in chairs pushed together, waiting in the waiting room so my granny could sleep in there with her. Like, I was there. And then one day, my sister and I think my aunt came in and was like, you should go home and take a shower. And I was like, okay, are y'all gonna be here with her? Like, that's fine. And I was really hesitant at first because I was like, why? You know, like, I've been washing up in the bathroom and stuff, but I was just like, why? I don't want to leave, you know? And my dad had to go pick up some people to bring to the hospital, so he was like, you can just go with me and you can take your shower and then we'll come back. So I go home or I go to my granny's, I think, house to pick up some people, then I take a shower and all this stuff. And then I see my big sister that was just at the hospital walk into my granny's house. And she doesn't speak. She just walks in, doesn't talk to nobody, walks upstairs, you know, like, she looks pretty sad. And I'm like, why'd you leave the hospital? She doesn't want to tell us anything. She doesn't speak. And honestly, find that weird. I'm like, why is she not talking? Whatever. Okay, so yeah, we go get my other big sister, whatever, and she's in the car with us. And then we get to the hospital, we walk in, and like I told you, they told me to leave. They told me to go take a shower. All this stuff. And I'm like, oh, they're being nice. Walk into my mom's room. She's gone. She's not physically gone. She's still there, but she's dead. No machines, no nothing. They're just yanking stuff out of her left and right. And lady walks out. Doesn't really say much. My mom lays there. She's gone. Like, she's gone. Nobody told me. I wasn't prepared. I wasn't ready. I didn't get to say my goodbyes. I don't know if my mom can hear me. No one really knows, you know? So my big sister did this all on her own. Nobody got to say so. Nobody got to say anything. I didn't get to say anything. I was there every single day. And I understood my mom was suffering and they were trying to get her off of it and they felt like that was better. But you could at least tell me, you know? Like, that just kind of like broke my heart, and like, I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to let my mom go. I wasn't ready to face the fact that there was no longer my mom. Like, what are you talking about, you know? And after my big sister did that, I'm gonna be completely honest, I don't even know if she knows this, but I hated her. I hated her. I didn't show it, I still talk to her, but deep down, I hated her. You can't just go and plug someone without telling someone else, you know? And I mean, I'm younger, so I don't get that decision, but I at least wanted to know. I at least wanted to say my goodbyes, even if she couldn't hear me. At least, you know, I was there to tell my mom bye. And, you know, like, it just like really hurt that it was real, but there was nothing I could do about it. And at that moment when I realized that, I just broke down completely. I was bawling my eyes out. I laid over my mom. I was like shaking her, and I just like felt her getting cold. And the nurse was like, you all can take your time, but once she gets stiff, we're gonna have to take her downstairs. And my voice is getting so shaky. I was literally like freaking out. Like, I was like, wow, my mom is really gone. Like, this is real. This is, you know, like, I didn't want it to be real though. So like, I was physically like just torn to pieces. I think it hit me more than anyone in the room. I mean, my dad fell out. Like, my mom and my dad weren't together, but they had been together before for 14 years, and they had been broken up for like 2, but they were still, you know, kicking it. Like, my dad had a girlfriend, but at the end of the day, like, my dad and my mom are best friends, you know what I'm saying? Like, they got each other's back. And so my dad's torn. He drops to the floor, he's bawling. My big sister, Crystal, she's in there, she's crying. And then my 2 younger brothers, they're younger than me. We're all 2 years apart. So Kevin was 11 or 10, and then Elijah was like 8. And so it didn't hit them as hard because they were as young as they really didn't understand what was going on at all. They knew their mom was dead, but they didn't understand the factors to it. They didn't understand why. They didn't know what was going on. So like, they cried for like 2 minutes, and it was done. It was over, you know, like, they were just standing there sad. But me, like, it hit me so hard. Like, I literally didn't go to school for like a week or 2 or something. I'd already been out of school for a while because I was there with my mom. So like, I didn't go to school, I didn't really eat, and my big brother, Jacob, was there for me a lot. When I called him, told him my mom was in the hospital and like she was gone, he literally came running to the hospital. He stayed with me for like a week or so. He was like, you know, like my rock to lean on at that time, and he was really there for me. And I really appreciate and love him for that. I don't know if he'll see this video, but I love him. And yeah, so he was like really there for me. And I cried about it a lot in the first, like when it first happened. And then how I got through it. So this is starting how I got through it, you guys. So at this point, you know, my mom's gone, you know, like, we're gonna have the funeral and stuff. And we had to get my mom buried with the state because my family doesn't have a lot of money. We didn't have anything planned for this. Not to mention my mom was, I think she was 39 going on 40. She was young. She was very young. Like, this shouldn't have happened to her. You know what I'm saying? And So basically, now it's how I coped with it. It's how I got through this process. And okay, so I don't know if you all know about the 5 steps of grief and loss. I'm going to list them, and I'm going to tell you all how I got through them, because the 5 steps are truly like a thing. Like, it's true. Like, when you lose someone, you know, and you're grieving, like, you really go through this. So basically, the first one is denial. And I was in denial for a while. I was so young, and I couldn't really believe that my mom was gone. Like, it wasn't clicking. Like, I wasn't getting it through my brain, you know? Like, I would go to sleep and wake up and be like, oh, that was like a dream, you know? And then I had to realize, like, I can't call my mom. I can't talk to my mom anymore. My mom is gone. Like, this is serious. Like, she's gone. But for like probably a couple months, you know, like, I was in a bit of denial, or maybe like a month. I was just truly in denial. I didn't want to believe it. Every day I would think to myself, you know, like, this isn't true. This isn't happening. This can't happen. I can't lose my mom. I'm too young. My mom's too young. Like, I would think, oh, maybe, you know, she's still in the hospital, or maybe she's fine, you know. Like, I would just try to keep trying to say she's still here, basically. And I didn't really say it to many people. I just kind of kept it in my head. But in my head, my mom wasn't gone. She couldn't be gone. It's not real. It's not happening. Like, this is fake, basically. It's what I was thinking. Like, this isn't real. And then the next one is anger. That's the second step of grief and loss. And I was so angry. I was angry at God. And I truly believe in God. I believe there's a higher power. I believe that everything happens for a reason now. But in that moment, I wanted to not believe in God. I wanted to hate God. I wanted to say, why would you take my mom? Why did you do this? You're not God. You're the devil. Like, that's what I was thinking in my head. Like, you took the person that I love, the person that, you know, gave birth to me. You know, like, you stole them from me. Like, you're not here. You know, that's what I wanted to say. I wanted to hate God. I wanted to hate my big sister for unplugging my mom when she didn't talk to any of us about it. I wanted to hate my dad. I wanted to hate everybody. Anyone that ever did my mom wrong, anyone that was ever even mean to my mom, I wanted to hate them. I wanted everyone, like, around me to leave me alone. I didn't want to talk to people. I just hated everything, you know? Like, I was at that point that I wanted to explode, you know? Like, and it was just that what really got me is, like, you know, God, like, I didn't believe in him anymore, you know? Like, he wasn't real. He wouldn't have done this. This isn't right. Like, and I just beat myself up over it, like, that I've learned, and I've always known about a God and how he's supposed to help you through things, and how he is, you know, like, he loves us, you know, like, and all this stuff. And I was just like, it's not true. Like, it's fake. He wouldn't have done this. He wouldn't have. Like, in my head, it was drilled that God wouldn't have done this. If my sister loved me, she wouldn't have unplugged my mom. I just hated everything, basically. The third one, I'm not even going to mention it because it doesn't really apply to me. It's like bargaining or something. I don't know if I ever did that, but depression is the next one. Yeah, so depression is the next one, and depression, definitely. Like, with the anger that I had built up and the denial and everything, I just went into this really depressed state where I didn't want to talk to anyone. I didn't listen to what my dad said. I didn't care what he said anymore. Like, I told my dad I wish he would have died instead of my mom. Like, who says that? Like, nobody says that. No one wants one of their parents to die. You know, that's not true. It's messed up. You don't say that. And I was just, like, so depressed, and I didn't really eat a lot. I didn't really have friends at this time. I didn't really talk to people. I didn't really want to do anything, and it was just really bad. And then I was so depressed that I started acting out. Instead of closing down, I started opening up and being crazy, you know, getting in trouble in school, not listening to anybody. I thought I could do whatever I wanted. Like, nobody's going to stop me, you know? Like, I was just so broken down that I started out acting like this person I totally wasn't. It was like I was quiet and, you know, didn't want to talk to anyone. Then after that, I was just like, no, I hate everyone. I'm going to go to school. I'm going to get in trouble. I'm not going to listen to my dad. I'm not going to come home from school. I'm not going to do anything anybody says to me because I don't have to listen to anybody. And I believe God wasn't real. I'm not gonna get in trouble for anything I do. I'm gonna do whatever I want. That's what I had in my head, and it just turned out to be really bad. Like, that depressed state was just awful. Like, you don't ever want to be in that state, but I mean, you have to go through it when you're grieving, like, and you'll get through it. That's the thing, you'll get through it. Okay, so then acceptance. How I accepted everything. Moving on to acceptance. How I accepted my mom being gone, how I got through the process for real, and how I really just finally realized my mom was gone. I can't hate my sister. God's real. God's still there. He's here for me. How I accepted everything was that my mom was physically going through pain in real life. She lived in the projects, and I'm not saying nothing's wrong with people living in the projects, but it's not the cleanest place, it's not the safest place, and there's a lot of drugs, there's a lot of drinking, there's a lot of all that kind of things, you know? So she lived there, and I tried to get her to come stay at my house, but she didn't want to because she had a boyfriend that lived there, and she didn't want to leave him. So she was already in a bad, sticky situation, and with her addiction, she also had a drug addiction. So being there was not the best place for her. It was like she was trapped, but she wasn't trapped. People would say she could have got out of that situation, but y'all don't understand, when you're addicted to something, if you're not ready and like willing to get out of it because you're so addicted to it, you're not gonna do it. And it's hard for people, you know, like, it's truly hard. They're gonna have to go through so much before they hit that point to where they're like, oh my God, I need to turn my life around. Like, people almost die before they realize this stuff, you know what I'm saying? Or they freaking die and then come back. Like, it's crazy. So I just realized that my mom was struggling in life. Like, she may have seemed happy and sweet around me, but I mean, I don't know what my mom was like. I know what she was going through around me, like the physical pain. Like, my mom had been through so much, you know, like so much. And I just felt like she was truly in pain, and that God wanted to remove her from the situation. He wanted her to be free. He wanted her to not feel any pain, and I feel like God needed her for himself, or he wouldn't have taken her away from me. And that he did it because she's now in a better place. She's not suffering. She's not in pain. She is living the life that she should have. I feel like that she's in heaven. And even though you mess up in life, my mom always knew God. And she prayed with us every night that she was with us. She always did. Every single night she would come in and pray with us. And I feel like she truly knew God. She just didn't know how to get out of the situation that she was in. And I feel like, you know, the Lord knows that, you know, so he took her out of that situation. And although it may have hurt all of her children, she has 9 kids, may have hurt all of us, our whole family, hurt everyone, my dad, hurt anyone around us. He did it for a better purpose, you know, like, he needed her. She needed him. And at that point, I realized that my mom is now, like, happy. She's free. She can be her, you know, and others may feel differently. You may not know God, you may not believe in God, and that's completely fine. I don't discriminate towards anyone, you know, like, that's your religion, and what you believe in is what you believe in. This is just what I believe in. And at that point, I felt okay again, you know, like, I wasn't okay because my mom is gone, but I accepted the fact that she was gone. I accepted the fact that she was in a better place, and God did that, you know. He didn't take my mom away from me, you know, like, if he didn't, like, you know, physically mean to hurt me, you know, because the Lord loves us all. He doesn't want to hurt us. And I realized that, you know, I realized that God has a plan for all of us, and even though it might not be my plan for my mom to leave this earth, it was his plan, and I can't get in between his plan. And you want to ask tons of questions, but the Lord does things for his reasons, and he's right, you know, like, and I just kind of accepted it. I didn't hate my sister. I never even told my sister I hated her at one point, you know. I didn't hate her anymore, you know. She put my mom in that better place when she decided to do it. I mean, she did it in a messed up way, when she should have just told us. But, I mean, I still love her to death, you know. My dad, I didn't hate him, you know, but with all the stuff going on with losing my mom and all that, it just spiraled my whole family into, like, my household family into a very big circle that went south. And we all just ended up just doing bad things, you know. And eventually we we got put into foster care before because of how bad this stuff was, you know? And I'm gonna make that a whole different video, but it's just like my whole life spiraled. But once I accepted, you know, what happened, I was happier. And I don't get as sad when I talk about my mom anymore, because my mom, I feel like she's happy. And my mom, if you know my mom, she's that person that if someone passes away, she's gonna get turned up. Not because she's not sad, because she's celebrating them moving on to a different life, you know? Like, it's just like, I wanna remember my mom in a good way. I want to feel like that she is happy and that she is freed from all of her problems. And I feel that way. I accept it now. And I'm 19 years old. This happened when I was 13, but it's just how I got through it, and I hope that others can get through it. And let's say your family is perfect, you know, your mom's not struggling, she doesn't need to be taken away, she just dies out of nowhere, you know. God has a plan for you. Like, God wouldn't have taken your mother if he didn't need her, or if he didn't feel in his heart that she needed him, you know. Like, there's always a plan, and when something goes south, everyone wants to hate God, but I just feel like that he, like I said, he has a plan, and that everything he does, he doesn't do it to hurt us. He loves us, and yeah. So like I was saying, this is how my mother passed away. This is how I got through it. This is how I physically coped with it. I'm not gonna say that this is gonna work for everyone, but this is what worked for me, and it truly worked for me. And I hope it helps others to get through what they're going through if they lost a parent at a young age, or if they're 30 years old, you lost your mom. No matter what age you lose a parent, it still physically hurts you. No matter how long ago you lost a parent, it still physically hurts you. Your mom's not there for your holidays. Your mom's not there for all the stuff that she should be there for, you know? She's always in your heart. And that's always like, I'm never gonna forget my mom. Just because I don't cry doesn't mean I don't care. I love my mom to death. She is my own personal angel. I have my own personal angel. Imagine that. Like, someone following me all around, you know, making sure I'm all right, protecting me. And I know she loves me, you know, like, I know. So I feel okay again, basically. I will always miss my mother. I miss her all the time. When it's my birthday, you know, or if I accomplish something, I want to tell my mom. I realize she's not here, and I can't tell my mom that, oh, I just got this A on this test, blah, blah, blah. Believe it or not, my mom was probably there with me. She probably already knows I got this A on this test. And I believe my mom is truly proud of me, and she's watching over me. And like I said, I now have my own personal angel, and that's kind of cool to me. So this is my video, and I hope it really helps people. I'm going to show you all some pictures of my mommy, so you know who she is. Y'all can know who she is. A lot of people say I look like her, and my mom's pretty, so I think I look like her too. And y'all, my cheeks are so red, it's ridiculous. It's because I was getting hot, because it just worked me up to talk about it, you know. But I got this. I hold it in, you know what I'm saying? Well, I don't necessarily hold it in. I don't have to cry anymore. So I'm going to show you all. My mommy. Okay. So this picture I'm about to show you all first is actually not me in the picture. It's my big sister, but we look a lot alike. So this is the first picture. Like, that's my mommy. That's my big sister. And that's my dad. But look at her. She's so pretty. Like, I feel like I get my big smile from my mom. Like, it's so pretty. Okay. And this is my mom again. Let's see. These are like physical pictures. I have some on my phone, but I just wanted to show you all these because these are like some of my favorite pictures of her. And this one is my absolute favorite. Like, she's so pretty, y'all. Y'all, look at my mommy. Hold on, let me find it. This one right here is my mom. That's my uncle. That's my big sister that I told y'all that I hated for a while. And then this is my dad. This picture is so long ago. So yeah, but this is my beautiful mommy right there. Yeah, so that's my mom, and I think she's beautiful, and I think I have a lot of her features. So, you know, people tell me all the time I look like her, and I'm like, okay, y'all. yeah, so this is the end of my video. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope that I help people get through what they're going through and that they know they're not the only one. And I know this video is going to be so long, and I apologize, but if you watched it and you watched the whole thing, thank you all. And thank you all so much for watching, and I'll have more hair stuff soon, but I have a protective style, so I don't know. I just want to do more videos to help people, like I said before. But thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you on my next video. Bye.